Welcome back, and welcome if you're new. My name is Naomi Sarah, and today we are going to go deep into quantum leaps and what they are, how you can do them, and I'm going to share some of my experiences and some things I think you might need to know before you decide to do it on your own. So I'm sure by now you've heard about quantum leaps, but what I want to know is if you've done it before. So if you have, leave a comment. If not, keep watching. I did a short maybe like a year ago, and out of nowhere it's just kind of blowing up and a lot of people are watching. So what better reason to just go a bit deeper on it and share my take. Clearly there's an interest in it. I've noticed over the past few years it has gotten a lot more popular. There are things to be aware of. There are things you might want to consider before you do it so that when you do it, it can be all that you wanted it to be and more. So that's what I want to share today. Just some things that I haven't seen anyone talk about yet. Some things that could actually impact your experience and your outcome. So first things first, what is quantum leaping? According to the Oxford Dictionary, a quantum leap is a huge, often sudden increase or advance in something. They say something. They don't necessarily specify like jumping into a new dimension or, things like that. So that comes in with your mindset. That comes in with, manifesting and law of attraction and all of those different spiritual methods and ideologies, right? To me, quantum leaping in this sense is really when you're able to jump into a new timeline or dimension, right? Where you're a different version of yourself. Maybe it's the same version, but just further ahead in the future where you've got everything you've been working towards, or it could be a totally different version. It really depends on you, what you believe, and what you are trying to achieve. Basically, that's quantum leaping. There are quite a few things that I feel people don't quite understand, especially with how fast trends get set, how fast people pick up new things and just start going with it. You really have to do your work before you do a quantum leap, honestly, or else you might get something that you're not really prepared for and you can't really enjoy, or, it's not all that you thought it would be. So this is really what I find people are not sharing enough, is this aspect where it's like, okay, so you do the jump. What happens if you get there and you're finding that you're all alone? All the people that you knew in your life are gone, or you have everything you thought you wanted, but it's not fulfilling. Or even what if you get it and then you lose it just as easily as you got it, right? I feel like this is a concept that goes to anything mindset, anything manifesting, anything in this realm where we are trying to change where we are in the world, who we are, and, invite more of our desires into our lives. There's a lot of things that we need to work on within ourselves before we can truly and wholeheartedly take these things in that we're asking for and live them and appreciate them and really have it make sense. So this is what I want to get into in this video. Really, this is the meat of this topic for me, is really understanding who you are before you quantum leap and who you will be after. So, I think it's really important to understand that we are energetic beings. So by that, I mean, our bodies, although they're physical, they are just what is allowing us to experience life. We have our five senses. This is what helps us move through the 3D. And I saw a really great example in another video where the person was, comparing that to you driving in a car. Another really great example that I love, that I really play with in my day-to-day life, is you're the director, you're the writer of your life. You are watching yourself do all these things. Everyone in your life is like a character, and you're just playing that role so well that you truly believe it. And even behind that is just understanding that we have so much power over what we experience, over who's in our lives, over what we feel we desire and what we are worthy of. And that shows up every single day in what we say to ourselves and what we expect the world to give us. And what we expect for ourselves and what we're willing to do, to put up with, to not put up with. That is where that all comes into play. So to me, I think it's very, very, very important to understand that fact. First and foremost is that we are energetic beings. That means that we are connected to everything around us. So, in wanting to shift into a new dimension, it's as if that is already us. It's already within us. We are already living in that dimension. We are just not there, mentally, or that's not what is being reflected back to us in our environment, in our lives. So, all that to say, we really do have so much power in what we are living and what we're experiencing and in quantum leaping. Like, it seems like such a difficult concept to understand, and it seems like it's something that's very hard to achieve. All that to say, we are energetic beings. We have so much power over what's showing up in our lives, over who we are, but we often give that power away by, taking in what society tells us and accepting all of these labels that are placed on us, going as far back as to before we were born, right? We decided to come to Earth in this life to experience what it is that your life has been up to this point and even going forward. So in that, we really have to take ourselves out. Well, I don't want to say take ourselves out of the equation, but we have to realize that every single thing that's going on in our lives, we signed up for, regardless of whether it's the best thing or the worst thing. There's a reason that we came, that we chose this path in this life. And I believe we all have our own missions in this life. We all have our own things that we were meant to experience, to go through, to learn from. And each of those experiences that we've had throughout our lives, whether they're good or bad, are giving us that chance to make a decision based off of what happened to us. We get to choose what we do with those moments. And some people are not going to do anything with that, and that's okay. Maybe that's what they decided to do, is just to experience, not to do anything with that, but just to be. And some people go through these experiences that lead them to these spiritual awakenings or to these deeper understandings of their lives, and they want to know more. They have questions. They want to get to the reasoning behind. And I feel like I'm one of those people because when I had my experience, I just needed to understand why. So I went deep into learning all about astrology, learning about human design, gene keys, just every single thing that could explain to me why things happened to me the way that they did. And in that, I was able to understand that it's all happening for me. This is all a part of my purpose, of my life's path and my journey. And it's up to me to decide what happens after. It's up to me to decide who I want to be, how I want to show up, and how I'm going to share that or not share it. So I feel like that's very key. Something that no one ever talks about is that we are actually in control of our lives. We have the power to change things if we want to. And you might not want to, and that's okay too. I guess I should say these are all my opinions. So if something doesn't resonate with you, just let it go. If it doesn't feel like it fits, then it's not for you, and that's totally okay. But if it is for you, you'll know that, you've experienced something similar and you get where I'm coming from. So yeah, I'm saying that now. I probably will not say that again, but I just want to share that before people start saying some crazy things in the comments. So yeah, I feel like once you grasp that aspect, it becomes really easy to shift into different realities without having so much attachment to what we're asking for. We are able to accept something that might be even better than we could have imagined because we haven't seen it yet. So that's another really key thing, that you should know if you want to quantum leap. A bit later in the podcast, I am going to share a few ways that I've quantum leaped, and I'm going to share my experience with you. And then I'm going to tell you some things that you really need to pay attention to be careful of before you decide to quantum leap. And like, of course, it's your decision if you want to do it or not. It's your life. For me, I always say that if you're doing something and it comes like from your heart, then go for it. It's meant for you. It's something that you are meant to experience and get your perspective on. So yeah, just because I'm saying these things doesn't mean you have to do them. Take them in, do what you want with them. It's all information. Let's get into how you actually do a quantum leap. So there are so many methods that you can do. There's meditations, you can visualize, you can do acting as if you're already there. There's also scripting for those who have a hard time doing visualizations. And there's also a really cool method called the 2-cup method, which I haven't tried yet, but I'm going to try and I'm going to give you my feedback on it. Another really great method is using crystals. So for me, I've done meditations and I've used crystals, and it's actually really funny. I wanted to show you guys the crystals that I used, but one of them is missing. And if you know anything about crystals, then sometimes they'll disappear. The other crystal I was using for quantum leaping broke in half, so I know I'm done with that one. I shouldn't be using it anymore. It's done what it needed to do. It got me from where I was to where I wanted to be, and I will share that story with you as well just a bit later. There are tons of really great guided meditations on YouTube. Honestly, I'm thinking of creating one myself and putting it up. So if that's something you would like, leave a comment, let me know, and then I will get to that and make one for everyone to use. Visualization practices. So this one is really cool. There are so many ways that you can visualize yourself quantum leaping, but I'm going to share 2 that I really, really like with you. And so the first one is seeing the universe as all of these different roads, all of these different paths. And on each road is a different version of yourself. It could be in a different timeline, it could be in a different dimension, but they all lead to different versions of you. And you get to decide which one you want to choose. I would say the very key thing about this is to affirm and to be very clear with yourself as you visualize this, that any road that you take will be leading you to your greatest self, will be leading you to your highest version of yourself. Whatever it is that you want to gain, or like whichever version of yourself that you want to get to, affirm that any road that I take is going to lead me to that. And that will reduce a lot of resistance. It will reduce a lot of fear that you're not making the right choice. It'll just make it very easy and very effortless. And I would also suggest being open, staying flexible, and not being so stuck or rigid in the dimension you're trying to get to, okay? Anytime you manifest, anytime you say your intention, always make sure to say this or something better. This or something that would serve me better, Make sure you're not getting stuck so that if something better is coming along, you're not going to miss out on it. Whatever is yours always, but we can slow ourselves down. So that's a really great trick that you should do if you're choosing to visualize. Another method that I really love is to remind yourself of all of the power that you already have, all of the power that you had to create your current reality, and visualize yourself creating whatever new reality it is that you want to get to. And as you're visualizing this, I want you to feel how you would feel if you were there. Feel that energy surging through your body, and as you feel it, say, I have the power to create this. I have the power to be in this dimension, in this, and whatever it is that you're calling in. Acting as if is a really great way as well. It's almost like using the law of assumption to already act as if you are in that other dimension, in that other timeline that you were trying to get to. And again, if you're having a hard time visualizing, if it's not your thing, try scripting. So that is where you just write out what it is that you want to be. You're writing out your life as if you're already there. So it's almost like the acting as if, but you're writing instead of using your mind to visualize. You can also just try as you're writing, try to visualize yourself in that state already. Another really great method is to do the 2-cup method. So you literally take 2 cups, put your current reality and your desired reality onto 2 sticky notes or pieces of paper. You put them on the 2 cups and then you visualize as you pour the water from one to the other. And as you do that, you visualize, you really feel how you would feel doing that. So a lot of these methods have, visualizing and feeling as if, really feeling the emotions in your body, feeling that energy of who it is that you want to be. And emotions, energy, it holds so much weight in manifesting and becoming different versions of yourself. So if you were like me before, where you couldn't quite even understand what you were feeling, or you're feeling very numb, then I would really invite you to do some inner work, do some shadow work, and see what is blocking you from feeling those emotions. And really start to just, throughout the day, stop, pause, and notice how you're feeling, what you're feeling, and what's causing those emotions, what's causing you to feel that way. And as you start to be more self-aware and to really start going inwards, by doing that, you are able to shift your outer world a lot easier with a lot more precision. So, yeah. Emotions are key. Energy is key. Energy is everything. Don't say I didn't tell you. The last method that I'm going to share with you today is using crystals. So for me, I have quantum leaped using Moldavite. There are so many other crystals that you can use, like Lemurian quartz, and that's my quartz that went missing. I have no idea where it is, but I really hope I find it again. You can also use time link quartz, citrine, emerald, raspberry, grossular garnet. Hold on, some of these are kind of hard to pronounce, but you can also use datolite. Okay, don't hate me if I said that wrong. You can use obsidian, agni-manatite, calcite, moonstone, and ammonite. And yeah, like I mentioned, I have a few of these already. Some that I really love, that I work with constantly, are still here. Others have disappeared or broken into pieces. So yeah, there's that. So yeah, those are some of the different ways that you can quantum leap. And of course, you can try them out, be playful with them, see which one works best for you, which one is the easiest and feels the most aligned with you, and see, just record your results. Do it like an experiment. Don't make it anything too heavy, too scary. Just play with it and see what you get, and then leave a comment below. Let me know how your experience was. Now I want to get into my experience and what happened for me when I did them. So the most recent time that I quantum leaped, I did a guided meditation, and that is, what I based my story on, or my short, I should say, on from last year. It was after I did a quantum leap, and then one day I just realized oh my gosh, I have everything that I was wanting, and it clicked that I successfully quantum leaped. So honestly, most of the time I don't even realize until I realize, you know what I mean? It's you stop, you pause, you look around, and you're wow, where did the last few months go? Where did the last year go? How did I end up here where I wanted to be? And it was so easy that I can't even remember the key things that happened to get me here. So yeah, that was from meditation. And yeah, some key things that happened to me were that I felt different mentally and emotionally. I felt more powerful. I felt more embodied and, able to speak my truth without fear, without compromise. And yeah, I just felt like a more powerful version of myself. I felt very clear in my why and in my path and in my journey, and also like in the people around me, I was actually really happy with my job. I was getting all these amazing opportunities to go to these beautiful places, to meet amazing people. And yeah, it was really, really, really cool to actually like recognize that that's what happened. The very first time that I quantum leaped, that I like actually am consciously aware of, was when I bought Moldavite. So I bought Moldavite like March of 2021, I should say. Yeah, not 2020. I bought it 2021. So end of 2020, I had like gone through a really bad breakup. I lost my sense of self completely. Yeah, that was like the first time I ever experienced a real heartbreak where I actually felt my heart breaking. It was very, very, very sad. It was like a very, very dark time. So in that, I picked myself up eventually. So by March, I was starting to feel good again. For my birthday, I had like this really amazing massage, and the massage therapist introduced me to human design. And so that was kind of like the start of my journey. And I had already been, diving into astrology over that winter and learning a lot about it and a lot about myself and like learning about tarot and things like that. So when she mentioned human design, I was like, okay, cool. Yeah, that sounds like something I would really be interested in. And so like a week later, I felt called to buy a piece of Moldavite because I felt like I was already at rock bottom, and I saw all the TikToks online about like, oh my gosh, about Moldavite, and my whole life changed. Everybody left. I don't know who I am anymore. People were having very extreme reactions to Moldavite, and I was kind of like, oh, that's amazing. Like these things that seem so big and like crazy and scary to some people, honestly, they kind of excite me. So I went ahead, I bought my Moldavite, and I started wearing it every single day around my chest. And little did I know, I'm an ego manifester, so my heart is my motor, is my authority. It's what tells me, what is a yes, what is a no, what I desire, what I want for my life. It's what keeps me aligned. And I didn't realize that by wearing this piece of like Moldavite around my heart every single day, that it would really just take away everything that was not aligned with my true desires, with what I wanted for myself, what I saw for myself. And it replaced everything that I lost with people, with things, with experiences that really spoke to my heart, that were really heartfelt yeses. And literally like 2 years went by. I can't even remember. Like it was just a blur. And by 2023, I had like everything that I didn't even know I wanted. Like it's crazy. By 2023, I finally went to Hawaii. I was in an amazing, healthy, loving relationship with my partner. We're still together. And I bought my house. Like there are so many things that happened that were what I wanted, right? And it brought me to a timeline where I was in control, where for the first time ever in my life, I got to choose what I wanted for myself. And it wasn't for anyone else. I wasn't doing it to people please. I stopped caring about what people would think of me, what people would say, how, my decisions, well, I won't go that far. Like I still am cautious and like aware of how my decisions could impact those who, are affected. So with that, of course, I am self-aware. But to balance that, I try to communicate and be upfront and honest and say what it is I'm going to do. I don't let other people stop me from doing something, but I will let them know. I will tell them ahead of time so that it removes that resistance. And that's really key for manifestors. Maybe one day I'll do a whole video on like manifestors, being an ego manifestor, because even with that, I don't see much information on. So we'll save that for another day. But today with the quantum leap, yeah, that was my experience. And so I had one experience that was, you know, not so great, and then one that was really good. But I should warn you that like with the Moldavite, I leaped so far ahead energetically, but I was still a bit behind in my physical body. And that's because I still had more work to do. So although I was able to get all of these things that I wanted, it's like they came when the time was right, when I had done the work that I needed to do to receive what it is that I was asking for, and to be able to hold it and not self-sabotage. Okay. So that is one thing that I really want to caution you on. And it's one of the things that, you know, is in my little list of things to be aware of that I'm going to share with you just in a little bit. So yeah, I just want to recap. The outcome of all of these quantum leaps that I did was, you know, I had so many things disappearing from my life, so many things left to make space for what was coming in. I met so many new people, had so many amazing experiences, and my inner self was like glowing for the first time and feeling sure about who I was. And I was able to do things that I was so scared to do just like weeks or even months before. Yeah, my mindset changed, but I still did feel anxious about the things that I wanted. So that's something I'm still working on. I feel like that is kind of like a forever thing, you know, if it's not big, if it's not worth it, then you're probably not going to be anxious, right? And then the downsides. So like I said, it was as if my spiritual body was light years ahead of my physical body. And with that came the anxiety. With that came the impatience of, I know I'm supposed to have this. I know I'm supposed to be here. Why is it not here yet? And that hyper focus on what is not here yet, which of course creates that resistance and makes things take a lot longer than they need to get to us. Now let's get into my advice, okay? Now I want to share all the things that I wish someone told me before I even decided to pick up that piece of Moldavite, or even like to do that quantum leap meditation. These are the things that I think are very key in manifesting and creating your reality and jumping into a new timeline. You know, this touches on every single thing mindset, every single thing manifesting, every single thing where you take your life into your own hands and finally take your power back. The very first thing, honestly, is you need to make sure that you're able to hold everything that you're asking for. So I know a lot of times we might see other people have things that we want, and then we're just like, yeah, I want that. We'll try and manifest it. But you don't know the backstory. You don't know the things that they had to move through, the shadow work they had to do to create that space and to create the ability to hold all the things that they want, to hold what it is that you are looking at and you're like, oh yeah, I want that. You know, it is so key to do that, because if you don't and you end up getting what it is that you want, then you might be in for a huge shock, right? It might not be everything that you thought it would be, or you might have a lot of fear behind losing it. And you might hyper fixate on that. And, you know, of course, you're going to self-sabotage if that happens. So yeah, it's really key to make sure that you can hold what it is that you're asking for, and doing that inner work to create that space and to create that strength and that foundation to hold it once you receive it. The second thing that you really need to be aware of is to honestly be self-aware enough to know that you have more work to do. Honestly, I feel like you are going to be doing the inner work for the rest of your life, okay? Like, you're never going to get to a point where you're like, okay, I think I'm good now. It's like, no, once you conquer something, another thing that's ready to come up is going to come up, and you're going to have to work through that. But you need to be self-aware enough to recognize when that's happening, and to also know when you're working on something currently. Just get to the root of these reasons why you even want to quantum leap, truly understand, like, why do I even want to do this? What is it that I want? Why do I want to get to this next phase, this next version of myself? Look at what's happening in your current situation and see if it's like something you're trying to run away from, or, you know, if it's something that you really need to take the time to understand. And if it's a pattern or a cycle, then to work on healing that and breaking it, so that once you get into that new reality, you're not going to face the same, you know, situations. You're not going to end up in the same pattern over and over again, where you're constantly trying to leap into a new timeline, and then you have the same kind of things happen and you're not making different decisions, you're not making different choices. It gets old fast. So really just be self-aware enough to know if there's more work that you need to do, and to get to the why of why you even want to quantum leap. And if you still want to do it after, then it makes it a lot easier for you to actually do, and for you to recognize once you're there, once you've done it. Yeah, again, it's just going back to doing that inner work and releasing the resistance, releasing the self-doubt, and really building your self-worth in you receiving everything that it is that you desire, you receiving everything that it is that you're calling in, you knowing that you deserve it wholeheartedly. It just makes the process so much easier. And also, by letting go and releasing, you're creating more space to even receive all of these things you're calling in, all the things that you're asking for, to receive this new dimension or this new timeline. Of course, you know, you want to show gratitude. So in doing all of this, in doing your shadow work, and, you know, diving deep into your why, as you're doing this, you're literally showing gratitude for the process, for your experiences, for everything that's happened in your life that brought you to this point, because there's a reason for it. There's a reason why you felt it in your heart or in your gut, or, you know, wherever it is that you find your alignment. There's a reason for it to come to you, and for you to even have that idea to do it in the first place. So show gratitude for where you've gone, show gratitude for where you're about to go, and just have fun in the process. Those are things to look out for. I just want to leave you with some final pieces of advice on how to quantum leap and make your experience even better. So again, make sure that you're ready, okay? Don't do it before you're ready. But honestly, do whatever it is that you want to do, okay? If you feel like you want to do it, then you're ready. But yeah, make sure you're ready. Make sure you're in a state of allowance and gratitude, regardless of what shows up and what leaves. Don't hold too much attachment to it. Just understand that it is an experience. Life is an experience, you know. These things are not tied to you. You are experiencing everything at once, and yeah. We're just here to have an amazing time. We're here to learn, to have fun, to co-create, to just be the best versions and examples of ourselves as we can be, to further lead the way for those are a few steps, you know, a few steps behind us. Again, remain flexible. So don't be too rigid. Don't have these firm expectations of what it is that you want to leap into. Allow yourself to receive what it is that you want, or something better. Make sure that you work on being in a surrendered state. So it's almost as if you want to be flowing with the current of life instead of swimming against it. That will make the process so much easier if you just remain fluid, remain flexible, and just be grateful for what is happening in your life right now, and be grateful that that new timeline is already yours. You're already there. It's just a matter of time before you get there in the 3D. Be patient. Be patient and understand that every single phase is necessary. So even if you're like in a little sticky phase, that is teaching you something. That is showing you what it is that you don't like. That is pointing you more in the direction of where you want to go, and giving you more clarity on whatever it is that you're trying to quantum leap into, okay? So every stage, every experience is key, and it's necessary. The more anxious you are, and the more you wonder why things are not here yet, the longer it's going to take. The more resistance you're putting in between you and this new timeline that you're trying to get to. Last but not least, make sure you have fun. This is not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be difficult. It's literally supposed to bring you into the highest, the best version of yourself, and to allow you to experience that and to share that with the world. Have fun, enjoy where you are, enjoy who you're meeting, take in all of these experiences, and yeah, they're just another page in your book. They're another chapter in your story. I feel like I talked a lot. Yeah, I really hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know if you are gonna quantum leap now and what method you want to do. I just want to thank you so much for being here. I really hope that you received what it is that you needed, even if it was just a little piece of like a little seed that I planted in your brain, and something better will grow. I hope that for you. And again, if anything doesn't resonate, just let it go. These are all my ideas, my experiences, my opinions. So of course they might not resonate with you, and that's okay. But if they do, subscribe, like the video, join the podcast, whatever. Just stay tuned because I have more amazing content coming, and yeah, I can't wait to share it. So with that being said, I will see you next time. Bye.